Tom Bilyeu is the host of Impact Theory, an interview show that explores the minds of the world's highest achievers. He went from growing up in a morbidly obese family, being dead broke, and not being able to pay his bills, to building his company, Quest Nutrition, which is $1 billion business.
Need motivation? Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the highest achieving person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Tom Bilyeu, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, experience pain.
There really are only two macro level motivators that we have in life, and that's pleasure and pain. And so what I want people to understand is, okay, so if nature only gave you two things to motivate you, pleasure and pain, why would you eliminate half of them? And so most people think that life is about avoiding the pain. I'm here to tell you right now, in a very controlled fashion, it is about really experiencing the pain, learning from it. So Ray Dalio, the most successful hedge fund manager of all time, has a perfect math equation. Pain plus reflection equals progress. If you don't feel the pain, you never reflect on it. So my thing is I spend 80% of my time focused on the beautiful things in my life, the things I'm grateful for, the beautiful things that I want to bring into existence, all of it. 20% of the time though, I'm in the darkness, man. I'm in that Tim Grover, relentless, I'm going to make this happen if I have to break myself, and I'm not afraid to lean into that because I know how powerful it is. Now, if you really want to put numbers how powerful this is, they did a study and they wanted to find out what happens, how can we get people to endure more pain? And the punchline is hilarious. So they would take people and they would submerge their arm in a bucket of ice and they would just hold it there as long as you can. Now, at first it's just cold, but after a while it really starts to hurt. And so people would end up yanking their arms out. They found that people could hold their arm in the bucket 35% longer if you let them display anger. So put it in, they get to that point where they're about to pull it out and you tell them, yell, cuss, do whatever you need to, and they'd be able to do it. They're the expression of intensity. Even what I'm doing right now, I can feel myself ready, right? I'm ready to strike, my muscles are tense, I've got a different posture, I bring my chin down, there's intensity in my eyes. Like, dude, I'm now feeling that because I'm embodying it, right? So it makes me really feel that. And so I actually started to tell the story earlier. I hate the gym. But what I would do to make myself work out is my wife would be on the opposite side of the gym and I would stare at her and I would imagine her being attacked. And I would imagine her being attacked by people bigger than me and that the only way that I could fight them off was to get stronger. There was nothing beautiful in it. I was not worried about aesthetics. I was worried about saving my wife. And by stepping into that dark place, and because people are like, what are you doing? But dude, I needed that motivation to push past what I want, to push past pain, boredom, all of it, and just to really get into it and get a result. But I find that people shy away from that. Look, to me, it's an 80-20 split. If you're spending more than 20% of your time there, it will be corrosive. It will start to erode your sense of self because you're gonna feel badly, right? Because I would be saying to myself, you're weak, come on, like you've gotta get stronger. If you spend 80% of your time doing that, that sucks. I don't wanna live like that. But not being able to dip into both, you'll just never hit the level of extraordinary. You may be fine, you may even be good, but you're never gonna be great.
Rule number 2, be in the skill acquisition game.
Audacity is nothing. Don't worry about being audacious. The reason people fear being audacious is they don't want to be me 10 years from now when this all fails, right? They're thinking, oh man, what if this doesn't work? This guy's gonna look like an asshole. And it's like, yeah, maybe other people will think that I'm a total dumbass. It doesn't matter. And why doesn't it matter? Because of technique. Because if I know how to build a house, I can build a house. So my thing is, I'm not trying to posture or be cool. I'm telling you, I have a set of skills. That set of skills lets me do things. I'm just interested in doing those things. So whether or not I hit my timelines does not matter. I'm in the skill acquisition game. Skills let you do things. I'm in the game of doing the things that my skills allow me to do. So I want to impact people's lives. Maybe I'm not able to pull it off at a film level. I'll find another way. Or maybe it takes me a lot longer to pull it off. Okay, fine. As long as I love what I'm doing, even when I'm failing, there's nothing to lose.
Rule number 3, love what you do.
I used to post a lot about what time I was waking up. I'd show myself in the gym sometimes at like 2 a.m.
And so people started setting an alarm. And I'm like, whoa. Like, that's not what this is. Like, I sleep as much as I need to. I prioritize sleep. So I stopped doing that because I didn't want people to lose sight of what I'm really saying, which is that fulfillment is the punchline. So if we can just literally skip to the end of like the whole thing that we're going to talk about, like all of life, the success that people are chasing, they think they want money and fame and all of that. And those things can be very valuable in a way. But what I want people to hear in my message about like working hard and discipline and all of that is the only reason that I put as much time and energy into it is because I love it. So me trying this method in something I don't love, I've lived that, I know where that ends, and it ends with me quitting. And you know, that's something that I'm sure we'll get into later, but it was like, I did that. The first 6.5 years of my journey as an entrepreneur were about the typical grinded out stuff. And look, man, it was an important phase of my life, but it ended up really chipping away at my soul. And I flirted with depression just enough in my life to know how dangerous it is. And dangerous because it will literally lead to somebody killing themselves, or just dangerous in that, yeah, sure, you live a normal lifespan, but you hate every minute of it. And so just really understanding how you get out from under that. And like lesson number 1, love what you do.
Rule number 4, take calculated risks.
My wife and I had tried to start our first business. Well, we did start our first business, and it made money, but it made very little money. It was a photography business, and that gave me that entrepreneurial drive. Like, I wanted to do it. I had a little tinge of it when I was selling for prepaid legal, and then really felt it when I was doing the photography. But I just looked at the dollars, and I'm like, this never goes anywhere. I can never make enough money. I didn't have the words to explain it, but it was because I was time for money. And you can't break the wealth equation if you're dealing in time for money. So I was like, all right, I want something more, but I don't know what that more is. And then two of the people that came through and saw me speaking about filmmaking were these 2 entrepreneurs. And they were the 2 things I'd always promised myself as a kid that I would have is that one day I would have 6-pack abs and one day I would be rich. Those were my 2 promises. Yeah. And that really guided my life in like a very sincere and intense way for a long time. And they come across my path. Not only are they wildly successful in business, but they're yoked. And I was like, whoa. So these guys are like, yo, we're gonna work together someday. And people would tell me that all the time. And I was like, yeah. And not really believed it. And they called and said, look, we're starting this new company, and why don't you come be a copywriter? We settle for employees, but we're always looking for partners. And you can have any role in this company that you want. You just have to become the right person for that role. And
that's really their pitch.
Yeah. And I saw them make that pitch to
everybody.
Dozens of people.
Wow.
Dozens. And nobody did anything with it. And I was like, what the do people not see like what they're offering? And everyone was telling me, they're full of dude. Like, can you not see? Like, these guys are just trying to take advantage of you. And I thought, even if they are, like, what do I have to lose exactly? Like, as long as my payroll checks are clearing and they're not doing anything unethical, I don't quite understand the risk. So everyone was like freaking out, telling me that I shouldn't do it. And I was just like, oh, wow, this seems too, like, it's too self-evident to me that I could always go back to teaching and that I might as well try this. And if it sucks, then I'll go back.
Also, if you want to have more confidence, self-love, and motivation, check out my 254 series where every day for the next 254 days, I'll send you an unlisted video to your email for free to help move your confidence forward. The links to join are in the description below.
There's a gap between who people are and what they tell you they want to accomplish. Once you can meet yourself with compassion, then you can begin to let go of whatever it is that's really with your mindset. You can get back on track, you can refocus, and don't wait till Monday. And that's a mistake that everybody makes. You can tell the world to eat less and exercise more, and it will work for every single person ever that's ever done it. But the reality is the vast majority of the world will not do that.
Rule number 5, believe in yourself.
What's this fascination you have with the Matrix movie?
I am fresh out of film school, about a year out of film school. So The Matrix came out in 99, I graduated in 98. So I'm hopelessly lost at this point. And I go to a comic convention, love comic books, and I come around the corner at this divey little comic convention. Like, if you're thinking San Diego Comic-Con, this was not that. This was like a divey little thing. And I come around the corner and there is Carrie-Anne Moss, Keanu Reeves, Joe Pantaleone, Joe Silver, the producer, like just this whole panel of people. I'm like, what? And so this is like I mean, film is the center of my life at this point. And I'm like, I can't believe these people are here. I had no idea. And they're like, hey, we're handing out tickets to the premiere tonight. You can see it on the back lot of Warner Brothers.
No way.
And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. So I go, and I'm waiting in line, and as I'm waiting in line, literally just like in the back alley of Warner Brothers, the doors burst open, people come out screaming, and I was like, what is going on? And so I plug my ears because I don't want to hear if they're gonna give spoilers, and they all go off, but I could tell.
Something special.
Yeah, they were into this thing. Go in, sit down, we're watching it, and you know that moment where Agent Smith comes up to the cops, very beginning of the movie, and he said, I told you to wait until we got here. And he said, oh, we can handle one little girl. No, officer, your men are already dead. And they cut up to, she jumps up, and in that moment, the entire audience, all at once, screams, ah, like they just go nuts. And I was like, that has never happened to me before, ever in a movie. There was just something so captivating. And then ultimately, The Matrix is the perfect metaphor for the human experience. It is about a guy who from the day he shows up has the same abilities as the day at the end. But once he learns to believe in himself, then he can actually do more. Even though he had the same potential, he's able to do more at the end. And I was like, that's life. Like, you've got this potential, but if you don't believe in yourself, you're never gonna put in the work to actuate it.
Rule number 6, dream big.
I'm not afraid to be audacious because I know that you're never going to exceed what you're aiming at. So your hope is to hit some percentage of what you're aiming at. So I might as well dream massive. And one, it excites me. And then two, I'm not afraid of the failure. So once you have that, like, oh, it's exciting for me to dream big, and I'm hyper conscious of, you break it down in small pieces. Like, I'm not worried about building theme parks and all that stuff right now. What I'm doing right now today is make a good comic, put out a good interview show. That's it. That's what my life consists of. Stay in business, be profitable. Like, those are the things that I think about. So I keep my goals, my immediate term goals, very manageable, but I make sure that they're feeding naturally into the grand vision. But I don't get scared or lost and thinking, oh my God, I have to do all that. Nope. Right now, today, I need to read a script. I need to make sure it's okay. I need to authorize it to be drawn. That's it. That's today. And as long as you're able to focus on that and get good at that, and then just always push yourself to make your skill set better and better and better, as long as it's leading towards that thing and you have clarity on where you're trying to go so that you make sure the skills you're acquiring will actually lead you there, you'll be fine.
Rule number 7, don't chase money.
And you've said it before that when you started out, there was a time when it was just about money. It was just about getting rich.
That's it. I used to repeat that over and over and over.
What? I just want to get rich?
Yeah, I just want to get rich. That's what this is. I kept saying to my wife, I'm going to make you rich. I'm going to make you rich. I'm going to make you rich. Like, it was the core of my identity. From the time I was probably preteen, because this was tied to my desire to be a filmmaker, I knew, like, inside I identify as an artist far more than I do as an entrepreneur. And I was looking at, okay, I love poetry and I love filmmaking. Well, there's no money to be made in poetry, but I could become truly wealthy in filmmaking. So that for me was a creative endeavor that I could also generate tremendous wealth. And so that put me on a path, which of course was part of the reason that I went into being an entrepreneur in the first place. Was I needed to control the art, I needed to control the resources. So I had to, like, learn business. And so going down that path and really realizing what it took to build a business and all of that, which is a whole universe unto itself, to have the will to push through all of that difficulty, it was, I'm going to get rich, I'm going to get rich, I'm going to get rich. And then just realize that maybe for Scrooge McDuck, who wants to swim in his money, that would be like a self-sustaining motivation. But somebody even like a Warren Buffett, at the end of the day, money means something to him. And it's the thing that it means that drives him. It isn't the money in and of itself. And the problem was I was literally chasing money in and of itself.
Rule number 8, show up for yourself.
If you want to believe in yourself and have a sense of self-worth, you have to earn that. And I wish it's something that somebody can give you, but they can't. But you can, doing really simple stuff. You say you're going to do something, do it.
Yes.
So my thing is, I said I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym. Whether I like it or not, I know that it has advantages in terms of cognitive optimization, in terms of longevity, all of that. So I'm going.
Yep.
And doing that every day and pushing into the extra reps and showing up for myself to get the result, like, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
And it's one very simple thing that I can control, doesn't require anybody else. No one has to come through for me, nothing.
Rule number 9, be open to change.
Because I'm a learner, because that's my identity, and because I really believe whatever skill set you have today, it's already taken you as far as it's going to take you. So unless this is where you want to be for the rest of your life, you've got to be open to change. You've got a hunger for it. So I don't fear change. I actually enjoy change because change has been the thing that's allowed me to improve my life consistently. And so I'm always looking for ways in which I'm wrong because I don't value myself for being right. And once people understand that for me, it wasn't, in the beginning, I was just telling myself to do that. It wasn't at a limbic level. Now I've been telling myself to value myself only for my willingness to admit when I'm wrong and to learn. That at a limbic level, it's true. So when somebody tells me I'm wrong, I have this rush of like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because if they're right and I really am wrong and they're making me aware of this, I'm going to get more powerful. So, and that goes back to my real belief in skills having utility. So it's like the ego doesn't have utility. Yeah, maybe some, but it's not, when misplaced and built around the wrong things, can be super dangerous. But because my ego is actually built around my willingness to stare at my inadequacies, when somebody tells me that, oh, you're doing this bad, wrong, or whatever, I don't spend time. It does still sting. I think that's just natural. So it'll be like, oh, that sucks, but oh, a reminder that this is going to give me something powerful. And so I use it sort of as mental jujitsu, and then I open myself up and I learn.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is know when to monetize your skill set.
When people say like, oh, I don't want to intern, or I want to make sure I'm getting paid when I'm worth, all that stuff, it's like, if you're focused in the beginning of your career with monetizing your current skill set, you will never get where you want to go, because money only spends once unless you're really good at investing, which most young people are not. Whereas skills monetize again and again and again and again.
Great point. That's so powerful. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, money only monetizes once, or you can only spend it once, but your skills can be monetized over and over and over.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, if you made it this far in a video and you're still watching and you promise to take action after watching this video, we don't just watch videos here in Believe Nation, we do something about it. Give me a hashtag Believe in the comments below, because I wanna celebrate you.
Here's one of my favorite things about neuroscience. This literally changed my life. This affected my marriage. And when I give people the answer, Jay, they're gonna think this is so dumb. But I'm talking to the 6 of you out there right now who are actually gonna do this.
That are watching.
It will change their life, dude. You ready?
I'm ready.
When you take on a facial expression, you will feel the emotion. No matter what. Whether you want to or not, you will. And when I realized that the brain and the body are in a feedback loop, meaning that the brain gets as much information, so the vagus nerve, I think 82% of the signals running on the vagus nerve, which is the biggest nerve in your body, 82% is your body speaking to your brain. Not your brain telling your body to do something, your body telling your brain what's up, how to feel, sending signals that end up influencing massive amounts of both conscious and subconscious behavior. So it is truly a loop. So I don't get angry easily, and this actually used to really wind my wife up. Or I should say, but when I did get angry, I would stay angry. So it'd be like nothing, 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 nothing. Boom, now I'm pissed. And now I'm gonna be pissed for the next 8 hours or a day or 2 days. Or God, there were times I'd be mad for like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, it's funny, I've never once come out of one of those periods and thought, you know what, I'm glad I was mad that long. That was a great use of a Saturday with my wife. This is really just a smart way of living. Every time I came out and thought this was moronic, I don't know what you're doing, you're wasting your time. So I had read this study that said if you hold a pencil in your mouth and then have somebody, which sort of forces you into almost a smile, and then have people rate their levels of happiness, they'll rate it higher. And I thought that can't be true. And so the study goes on to talk about getting people to laugh out loud and all this stuff. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try it. So I would force myself to laugh out loud, and it would change my mood. Now I felt stupid doing it, for sure. But about like 6 seconds in, it's so dumb and so ridiculous, and now you're getting that feedback loop that it actually becomes real and your mood lightens. And so I wrote this letter to myself and I gave it to my wife to read to me if ever I was in a bad mood. And she only had to read it to me once, and it worked so profoundly that I realized I don't need somebody to read the letter, because the notion of, and the letter was basically, because whenever you're in a fight with somebody and they try to soothe you, you reject that because you think, well, they're just doing that because they've done something to wrong me. I have a legitimate reason to be upset. They have an incentive, a perverse incentive, to see me forgive it. So I'm not going to forgive it. This is real, and some deep recess of your brain, you feel it needs to be punished. And so in that mode, you won't believe what they say because they have motive. So I had to read this letter and it was like, hey, me, it's me. You know I have no motive in this. I want nothing other than when you're looking back on this for you to feel like you made the right decision. And so what I want you to do right now is laugh out loud. That's it. Just take 10 seconds. Laugh out loud. And at the end of that, you know it's going to change your brain chemistry. And I remember citing the study and I was like, you know it'll work, so just do it. And so she read it to me. I laughed out loud. It felt ridiculous. I didn't want to do it, by the way. I did not want to laugh out loud. But the code that I live by is, man, you always do that which moves you towards your goals. I want to have an amazing marriage. So I did it. I laughed out loud and it changed my mood on a dime. And I was like, I can't believe this is real.
If you want to see the top 10 I did on Patrick Bet-David, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I think bullying is necessary to do something big in your life.
I realize today the world we're living in. If you don't tell the world who you are,